once again I'm here and I've decided that I'm going to use Metropod, so I'm in for a horrible time to begin with, even before I factor in my choice of game being Emerald Kaizo. Yeah, everyone's least favourite ROM hack is where I've decided to go, and because of how difficult this game is, I've decided it's the ultimate test for Metropod. For anyone who might be new to the channel and doesn't know what a Metropod is, it's a thing I've coined. We are using a team of 6 Metapod, all of whom only know Metronome. Yeah, that's right, we're tackling Emerald Kaizo with 6 Metapod. It's as impossible as it sounds, but we're going to see how far we can actually get into this game. For the sake of complete and total clarity beforehand, this is of course cheated, as if I was going to use 6 regular Metapod. No, I've decided that in the game editing files, each of my 6 Metapod has one perfect stat: health, speed, special defense, special attack, attack and defense. I've given them perfect IVs, I've given them full EVs in this, and yes, that is impossible in Emerald Kaizo, but hey, I need every single chance I can have to get 6 Metapod, hopefully, through all of the gyms and to the Elite Four. And finally, before we get into this one, just a shout out to Pokemaniac Ace, who guessed in the live chat rather than in the comment section the reference of the last video. But with this, we get into the game, picking the male character and giving ourselves a very witty and inventive nickname, before going north to rescue the professor and getting ourselves our starter. Now, I've hacked in a Metapod, and for some reason, it doesn't know Harden, it actually knows Tackle, meaning that we're able to beat the Zigzagoon, but only just. Luckily for us, only just is still a success, meaning we're able to go and bestow a nickname to our Metapod. Now, the full team I have put on screen for you now. There is a naming scheme reference here, and it can be quite difficult. In fact, I'd say it is very difficult. So there may be some Googling involved, but as ever, the first person to correctly guess it in the comments below gets themselves a shout out. I'll give you a little hint. All 6 of these have something in common. So yes, everyone, I'd like you to meet my team of Metapod in Gillick, Katz, Livingston Stallard, McCabe, Vervaeke and Ree-G. Last hint I can give anyone is that I was heavily into my exam periods at the time. Well, with the team now in possession, we head up to take on the May fight, and we get quite lucky with our metronomes, pulling out Waterfall, Rock Smash and Nature Power Swift. I say lucky because with metronome, and my luck at least, any sort of damaging move that isn't an explosion or a self-destruct is in fact exceptional luck. So as we head into Petalburg and watch Wally catch his Ralts, I should probably say that I was prepared to make this a very long video, showing you every single time that we self-destructed, exploded, mementoed, etc. But to be honest, when we bump into the fight against Red before we get to Rustborough, that hadn't happened, and neither did it in this fight. Right off the bat against Eevee, we get lucky with an Aero Blast, and I was feeling really good at that point, and then his Charmander came out and was solely responsible for taking down 2/3 of our entire team. Yeah, this video is going to be tough, isn't it, when we can't even beat a Charmander. Still, we do actually manage to defeat Red first time, and it does take us down to the wire. But still, Metronome pulls through, and we're into Rustborough to take on Roxanne. Now, because Emerald Kaizo is such a long game, and it's just so boring to grind at the best of times in it, I will confess that there were some corners cut. I did hack myself in rare candies, I did hack myself in full restores, max elixirs, basically the mobile Poké Center stuff, which really just saves a crap ton of time in this game. I will confess with those rare candies that I did have a method, as I usually do. I was only allowed to use them to elevate the other team members to the highest level of one of my Pokemon, meaning I was at least grinding one Pokemon up levels as and when they came, and was only allowed to match them. I wasn't allowed to overtake. Yes, call me a cheater down below in the comments for all I care, I know, but if you ever played Emerald Kaizo, you need to save as much time as possible, otherwise you end up with 17 hours worth of footage. Now, we might all have good physical defense, but up against a rock type gym using bug type Pokemon, we did experience a lot of failure. Level 22 and level 25 were both impossible. However, there was a little bit of a breakthrough. When we hit level 27, I started seeing some results turn my way, and after only maybe 20 odd minutes of resets, we're able to beat Roxanne and claim the first badge, which is a massive hurdle overcome right at the beginning. Now as we sail our way over to Dewford to change the trendy saying to I am hard, haha ladies, I should confess that most of this video is going to be just watching me fail over and over again, because Metropod is, well, how do I say this politely, unreliable at best. And nowhere is that more evident than against Brawly, because we lose first and second times. Now on the winning attempt we get lucky, pulling out moves such as Sky Attack, Peck and Sky Uppercut. However, thrown in there are some terrible moves. I mean, we saw a spider web and a block in that one. So it's, yeah, unreliable is probably the right way to describe it. Painful is probably more realistic. Anyway, with the second badge, we can dive into the cave to deliver the letter to Stephen and head over to the Slateport Museum, where for the first time in a long time I actually get to say the words I lost to 2 Aqua Grunts. The first fight was alright, we got a really good set of moves every now and again, a Razor Leaf, a Solar Beam even, and then the second fight happens and all of the Emerald Kaizo cheese comes out and we just end up getting absolutely swept. We do come back the second time and beat them. I'm not going to include that footage because the next bit that comes up is more important. Archie barrels in, introducing himself and calling his men simps, for which there is an emote available. If you'd like to join the channel and get access to those emotes, there is a little join button down below and a link in the description. Of course you don't have to, but the one thing you do have to do is hit that red subscribe button if it's red for you, along with the like and share buttons. Please do! We just hit 3,000 subscribers and I am so eternally grateful for it. It's going to be really tough to do, but I've decided that I'd like to hit 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so please help me out to achieve that goal. Now with the shameless plugging done, we get to move on to the May fight. Now there weren't any hugely great moves pulled out of the pool, quite a lot of back and forth going with moves like Flatter and then getting poisoned. But at the end, on her Grovyle, it is a little bit of revenge that helps us win. And that revenge slingshots us forward to outside the gym in Moorville, where we have to fight Wally and his level 70 Ralts. Normally, because of the fact that it only really knows Pain Split to do damage to us, this is quite an easy fight despite the level difference. But that's when you're not relying on 6 Metapods. Yeah, this just took a lot longer than I thought it would. But again, with only Pain Split to do damage, it really wasn't too difficult. We were only hitting the E key every time. It's up to pure luck what we get. And for winning that fight, what we get is something more torturous than being made to sit through every single one of Tion's uploads. We have to fight Watson. First time out at level 48, yes, with that over his levels. Despite getting a fantastic Razor Leaf out on Lantern, we get absolutely ruined on the luck of the draw and we lose quite convincingly. So convincingly, in fact, that I had to go away and do some levelling up, which with a Metapod is a lot easier than it sounds. With Metronome is a lot harder than it sounds. So you judge for yourself how difficult it was to get myself up to level 58. 10 levels later, and we still lost time and time again. But at level 58, things were going more our way. It was just a case of waiting for the good RNG, I decided, and that meant I ploughed through. When I got lucky and drew moves like Psycho Boost, Mist Ball, and of course the first Crab Hammer on Jolteon, I was very excited, and that only really continued on through the rest of the fight. And before long we are claiming the 3rd badge, which is just mind-blowing to me given how high leveled we are at this point. But I get the distinct impression that things are only about to get worse, because the next major fight is against Red. It was at this point that my rare candy rule went out on its arse and I just used them to level myself up because it was so painful to grind and this fight was damn near impossible. My best attempt at level 66 got all the way down to his Snorlax, where we just got stalled out to hell, and then that was it. Rest and Snore just obliterated us and I couldn't beat that at all at that level, which meant I had to go up and level up some more. Of course, had to do it for the memes. Level 69.
Nice.
Turned out to be the right call because our first Metronome gets us Rollout, which obliterates quite a few members of his team, meaning that we're down to his Venusaur before we even lose our first team member. And I'm never going to say these words again, but thank God for Explosion, because our very first exploding of the run, and it beats us red with only 2 casualties. Sure, level 69 is massively over his levels, but I don't care. Explosion was useful. And then the levels came hard and they came fast, because we needed to be level 75 before we could beat Maxi. Now that I had just so many resets of footage, I decided I was just going to cut this down to the winning one, because the most important fight for me is to talk about what comes up next, which is of course the fire type gym leader in Flannery, and this is going to be so painful even to just recite. For the first time that I'm pretty much ever going to confess to, a cast form made this nigh on impossible, sweeping our entire team aside for the most part at level 77. And even when we're 40 levels higher than it, at level 82, it still sweeps aside our entire team. So then we go up to level 87, and we fare a little bit better, but nowhere near enough to be successful. And even at level 93, the cast form still destroys our entire team, and I am getting frustrated. And then the max level resets begin, because yep, I maxed out our entire team to level 100, and I still couldn't beat the fire type gym. It was a painful process, as I knew that I really only had one hope at this point, and that was to hold out for good RNG with some good, high-powered, hopefully super effective moves. And those moves were not very generous in coming forward, to the point where I reset even at max level for 15 minutes and still couldn't quite get anywhere. We do pretty consistently now manage to hit hard enough to get down to her final Blaziken. However, without the right move, we just get shredded. On the successful run, yes, there's a successful run, we're down to our final Pokemon each, and I pull out a brutal, hard-hitting Surf to one-hit her Blaziken, which means we can survive. And with that done, we're heading over to the double battle gym against Norman straight away, because there are no more levels for us. Normally the first of the double battle leaders is where things get a little bit tough in a normal Emerald Kaizo challenge, because it's really the first opportunity we've had to do a sustained double battle fight, and he's got some sly tactics up his sleeve that he tries to use against us. It's long, it is painful, but overall, compared to what we've just come through against Flannery, Norman is easy. We use Metronome over and over and over until we finally beat him and get the 5th gym badge under our belt. After this, we head up to the Weather Institute and get given a cast form of my own, which I nicknamed Cast Couch 2 Electric Boogaloo. If you do get the reference, please don't comment it down below. I do actually want to be monetized for this one. And so I swiftly and seamlessly segue into the May fight. It's raining, it's pouring, no old man is snoring, but a Raichu is using Thunder and it makes my life hell. We lose, and rather convincingly at that. Luckily for us, we're max level, so all I have to do is reset and hope for RNG, which I get good on the second go. That could have gone an awful lot worse, especially seeing how we got wiped out so badly the first time. However, what comes next is something that I'm utterly dreading. It's actually the point where I thought this run would be impossible. We have to fight Winona. The first time around, again, this is getting quite laborious to say, but we lose, and we do so rather badly. We don't actually draw terrible moves out of Metronome. It just goes to show how overpowered her team is and how underpowered a Metapod is, which really I shouldn't have to say. It goes without saying, it's a Metapod. But still, we do lose quite convincingly. However, and there is a twist, we beat her on the second time of asking, with thanks to 2 moves that I would normally gloss over and never consider using in any sort of playthrough. Disable and Transform, we're able to beat her. First by disabling Aerodactyl's ancient power, and secondly by transforming into a Flygon that knows Dragon Claw to take out her Flygon, and then to obliterate her Moltres to win us the 6th badge. Second time of asking. Whatever gods are up there, RNG gods in this game, they are looking down on me and sending me all the luck at this point for even attempting such a ridiculous and stupid challenge in a ridiculous and stupidly hard ROM hack. Upon the conclusion of this fight, we head up to Mount Pyre, where I can't say the words aloud, but you can read on the screen. Archie gives us all a life lesson that we need to learn. and then it's off to the magma hideout. Okay, so for this fight, I tried everything. I've picked a random point in the middle of all the recording for it to start it off because it's brutal. So unbelievably brutal. Even when we use save states, and I really abused save states to get to the perfect opportunity. We got down to his Entei with most of our team intact, and we got outsped every single time, and one Sacred Fire just obliterated us. We came to the conclusion that this is where the run dies. We managed to beat Winona, for God's sake, and this is where it dies. In the middle of a volcano, after some crazy old man decides to bust his blue ball out and all over a Groudon. I wasn't having it. So for your entertainment, I hacked myself in 6 Blaziken and I beat the fight. Although the run's over, my hope is not, so I bring him back into the party and continue with the game, and we're going to go until my spirit breaks. Before we hit that point though, we do head to Slateport where we get to gatecrash an interview and watch Archie steal a submarine, and yes, it's coming. We stand in front of Captain Stern, we look him square in the eyes, and we say to him, "I'm the captain now." And with that, we head into the Aqua hideout in Lily Cove, where we find that we can't even beat the admin. Yeah, we couldn't actually beat the admin for some reason. It was just too difficult. I blame his Dragonite. I don't. I blame my own incompetence. But that's not the point. It was back in with the Blaziken to defeat that fight, and a quick trip over to Moss Deep. Can you spot the minute where my spirit finally breaks? Because when we get into the gym fight against Tate and Liza, we do next to no damage whatsoever on her first 2 Pokemon, the Latties. Which is where my spirit finally breaks, and I bring out my ace in the hole. Now, because Emerald Kaizo mostly just uses the base Emerald engine, a fun fact that you might not know while my dog snores between my legs under my desk is that you can export a save file from Emerald Kaizo and open it in base Emerald. So now we're going to beat the rest of Pokemon Emerald with a team of 6 Metropod, because you came here to see Metropod in the Hall of Fame, and I am determined to do my best not to let you down. And yes, I know I've already cheated with rare candies and a new moveset, and they've all got IVs and EVs which you can't get in Kaizo, and I know I've cheated a lot and let you all down, but I refuse to give you all an anticlimactic ending to a run. So with the 7th badge in hand, we get to head down where it's wetter, down where it's better, under the sea. And just like I had to do in my initial take of the Blazing Emerald Shiny video when the Edwin Davis Jazz Band decided they wanted to copyright claim my ass for using 30 odd seconds of Benny Hill music, I now have to find a workaround to getting copyright claimed by Disney for saying those words. In the meantime, we head and we fight Archie, who is a complete and total pushover once more. And then we get to go into the Cave of Origin to chat up Wallace, to head up to Sky Pillar, to awaken Rayquaza, and then go and sit through the best cutscene in the world. I'm racing through this game now. It's late, and I'm fed up of Emerald Kaizo / Pokemon Emerald in general. I'm fed up of Metropod. Don't bother using it. Why would you torture yourself like this? Anyway, Juan's up, and, well, what more do you want me to say? We've got a team of 6 level 100 Pokemon against the 8th gym badge. It's really not that difficult. We've won every single fight since we switched over to Emerald first time. So, yeah, take that how you will. When we got to Victory Road to fight Wally, I thought he was going to give us a scare and our first loss since we switched over to regular Emerald. However, that wasn't the case. His Gardevoir did take us down pretty much to the wire. I think we only had 1 Pokemon left after McCabe, but it doesn't matter, because we beat him, and we now get to enter the final stretch. The Elite Four, starting with Sydney. Sydney could have been a problem, especially when we started missing attacks and we weren't getting any good ones, but then our luck changed midway through the fight, thanks to a Blast Burn, a one-hit KO Fissure, and finally a Bullet Seed on the Crawdaunt. Yeah, Bullet Seed turned out to be a good move. That's the first time that's happened in history, I think. But still, we managed to beat Sydney, and we're moving on to Phoebe. The Ghost Girl had me scared, and to be honest, it just took ages to get past her Dusclops. But realistically, we pulled out some quite good moves, and we got through this fight quite painlessly. At least in comparison to the rest of the run that we've just done. I came through all of that, can you believe it? I can't, and I'm recording this audio. I also cheated my way through it, but who cares, it's Metropod. Glacia wasn't very nice to me though. In fact, she took me right down to the wire. My final Pokemon. Even a good bit of switching here and there couldn't quite save me from going down to the last Mon. And if it wasn't for a lucky Needlearm at the end there on Walrein, we would have lost our first fight against the Elite Four. But it turned out that we just needed a breather. We still have the 100% win record, and we're moving on to Drake. And our 100% record continues through Drake. I got 2 words. Ice Ball. They were brutal against him, those 2 hits, and I was so thankful for them. On top of that, Perish Song is what won us this fight. Perish Song. I've never used it before. Emerald Kaizo strats against Pokemon Emerald. It just works. It just works. Champion Wallace is the final hurdle for this run, and Wailord comes out and we hit it with that Rock Slide superpower combination to take it down. Tentacruel is second, and despite a cheeky little Thunder Shock, it's Bide that really turns out to be the hero there, as we just hang on a couple of Hydro Pumps and dish out an ungodly amount of damage to see it gone. Thanks to the order in which he decides to use his full restores, Ice Ball takes him out again with an unneeded crit, but I'm not going to turn it down. Gyarados comes out and of course sets up Dragon Dances, which really doesn't bode well for us, meaning that it actually takes quite a while to go down. In the end, a Dynamic Punch makes it confused, and it hits itself using that increased attack stat to knock itself out for us. It's done me a job, I guess. Milotic comes out and we end up down 1-on-1, our final Pokemon against each other, and thanks to Calm Mind, Milk Drink and Psycho Boost, we get all 6 of our Metropod into the Hall of Fame. Okay, so they might not be going into the Hall of Fame we wanted them to go into, or I tried to get them into at the start, but they're still going into 1. That has to count for something, right? Please? Please tell me it counts for something. Anyway, it turns out you can't beat Emerald Kaizo with 6 Metapod that all know Metronome. Who would have thought it? But it does appear that you can beat Pokemon Emerald with 6 Metropod, which is, I guess, alright. It'll do as a substitute, surely. Actually, speaking of substitute, that's one move I didn't see at all in the entire run. I didn't get substitute a single time in Kaizo or regular. Strange. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Your time is so greatly appreciated. Please do hit that like and subscribe button, as I mentioned earlier. And a huge thank you to the channel members, Brace, Metal Hammer, Spyro and Gabrielle. Thank you so much. I hope you're all staying safe out there, and I'm not going to drop any hints for what the next video might be, but there could be a little bit of a gleaming hope on the horizon. Maybe a shiny new video coming out, but who knows? At the end of the day, I look forward to seeing all of you, and hopefully some more, in the next one.